The Archon has officially been out for over a week now, so it is time to give a full review for the map. I do this for every single Zombies map that releases, the new ones that release. Of course, I haven't done them for all the old maps. I do plan on going back and doing a full analysis of some older maps, but for now, let's talk about Vanguard Zombies' last map, the Archon. So when it comes to gameplay for the Archon, there really isn't much to talk about because if I'm going to be honest, this map doesn't really do much in terms of its gameplay. It is at the end of the day a very simple round-based survival experience, and if you're the type of person who just likes to hop in and kill zombies and that's all you care about, this map actually gives you a decent experience for that. There's a lot of open areas, the map isn't too big so you're not going to get confused going around it. It's pretty easy to get the Pack-a-Punch, you literally just pick up 2 pieces around the map and boom, you have Pack-a-Punch. It's very simple. So for a casual player, I don't think they're going to be turned off by this map like they would for a map like Origins or Transit or Shadows of Evil, where you have all these crazy things that just make it kind of not very intuitive, so you don't want to jump in the map and try to figure it out. If you just want to jump in to just kill zombies, you're going to get that experience actually decently well here. But if you're trying to play it again and again and again, is this map going to be that enjoyable? Honestly, no. There is not much to do on this map at the end of the day. There is barely anything when you compare it to the past couple Zombies experiences from previous games. If you look at Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, even Cold War, even other maps within Vanguard itself, like I would say the Archon has probably the least amount of side quests. There's the least amount of things to do. You have like this Rampage Inducers little thing that you can do, which I wouldn't really consider that a quest. You of course have your musical Easter egg, and there really isn't much beyond that. The main quest itself we'll talk about later in a separate portion of the video, and that I have a lot of positives to say, but when you don't want to do the Easter egg, there's literally nothing to do on this map other than just kill zombies and survive as high as you want, which at the end of the day is one of the most important factors of a Call of Duty Zombies map, because what most people want to do, they do want to just play to get to the highest round possible. So does this map provide a good experience for doing so? Honestly, I don't know. It's not annoying of a map. It's not like one of those maps where it's annoying to try to get to high rounds because there's annoying bosses or it's just not a good layout, so there's nothing fun to do. It's one of those maps that you just feel you get bored of pretty quickly. It's not that it's annoying, it's not that it's tedious, it's just boring. I don't think anybody's ever going to have fun. They might, but most likely not going to have that much fun trying to go to high rounds on this map. The layout is decent enough. I don't think the layout of this map is that bad, but it's not something that's that interesting. You don't have any really cool locations to, train around. It's all deserty. We'll talk about the, location itself and the atmosphere part of this video, but I really don't think many players are going to have that much fun training for high rounds on this map. You do have the shovel feature returning in this map from Terra Maldicta, which I do like. It's a fun little feature. You can just dig stuff up, and there's a lot of these little red crystals around the map as well that you can shoot, and you get stuff out of it. And I really like it because it's a quick and easy way to get salvage, so I think that's actually an enjoyable part of this map. And when it comes to the wonder weapons, you do see the return of the Wunderwaffe as well as the shield from Terra Maldicta. So you get the 2 main wonder weapons that were in this game on this map, as well as the ray gun, which that's like the bare minimum to have the ray gun on a map, obviously. But they are fun wonder weapons. I do enjoy them. But the biggest issue here is they're not new, right? And that to me is the biggest detriment to this map. There is literally nothing new. When you don't look at the Easter egg and you don't look at the boss fight and all that, you just look at the map itself before that, there's nothing new. The location is from Terra Maldicta. It's pretty much exactly the same location. They didn't like add new areas or anything. It's literally the exact location as what we see in Terra Maldicta. You also have the same boss zombies, the same ones we've seen in Vanguard, the same weapons, the same wonder weapons, same equipment, the same everything, perks. There's not a single difference on this map. It's just playing Terra Maldicta, but round-based. The only difference that you have is, of course, the main quest, but not everyone wants to do the main quest. So, for a lot of people, this map is absolutely nothing new. And I am just really surprised that this happened. Now, I know Treyarch's been dealing with a lot of development issues in regards, to Vanguard. This is the best they can put out, it seems, and I'm happy it happened instead of not happening at all, because of course this is better than having no new map. but we are here just to judge the map as is, and it is easily one of the least innovative maps we've ever seen in Call of Duty Zombies history. So when it comes to gameplay, this map, it's not very good. It really isn't. The innovation is just not there. Even like Shinonuma at least tried to do some new things that I really liked, but this map doesn't do anything new. It is literally the same stuff we've already seen. But there is a light at the end of this dark, dark, dark tunnel, and that is of course in reference to this map's Easter egg, which I think is actually pretty good. I think I enjoyed this map way more than the average person, simply because I am more of an Easter egg person, and I do think this map's Easter egg is actually pretty good. Do I think it's incredible? No, of course not. But compared to the other Vanguard Easter eggs and compared to even the Cold War Easter eggs, I think it's one of the better ones that we've seen in quite some time. So to start this Easter egg, you just have to get the Pack-a-Punch unlocked. You do this little like lockdown thing to actually fully get the Pack-a-Punch unlocked, and it's a pretty cool little step there. I actually quite enjoy it. If you don't have good guns, it can actually be kind of dangerous, but it's not too hard. And then you go into this little mini lockdown in the boss arena that you're going to go in later, and it's kind of like a cool little tease of what the boss is going to be. I really like when maps do like these teases of the boss you're going to see later on. Like we saw that a lot in Descent, for example, where you would like go to the boss arena before you even get to see the boss later on. So I really like that whole idea there. And then when you complete the lockdown, you are told to complete 3 trials. Now when I first did this Easter egg, I was expecting it to be these really simple trials that you can do within like a couple minutes, and then you're in the boss fight. I thought it was gonna be just something really short, and I was hoping it wasn't gonna be, because I do like harder, more challenging, more in-depth Easter egg quests. And I'm really happy to say these 3 trials actually do take some time, and they're actually pretty fun. I think all 3 of these trials are quite enjoyable. Do I think they're perfect? No, but I think they're pretty cool. So the first one, you can do them in any order, by the way, but this is the order I did it with in my game. The first one, you have to dig up this red orb near this general area. This isn't a tutorial, so I'm not going to go in depth with how to do it. If you want to see exactly how to do these Easter eggs, there's plenty of guides online already. We're just going to talk about how I feel about the different steps for this Easter egg quest. So when you get the Simon Says challenge from digging up a red orb in this area near Pack-a-Punch, this is probably one of my favorite steps of the whole Easter egg, because I'm a big fan of Simon Says steps in zombies. We've seen plenty of them, and I really enjoy them because it does make you think a lot. It really makes you use your head. Of course, you can write the stuff on a piece of paper, but a lot of the time I like to just do it in my head, and it makes it a little more challenging. And it's really different here because you're not holding X on something. You have to actually stand on a platform for a couple seconds, or like it's like 1 second, I think. You stand on the platform of where the different symbol is, and you have to do that in the order of where it appears, and you do this 3 times, and each time it gets an extra symbol. So the first one's 3, then 4, and then 5 symbols. So you have to do that 3 times, and each time you do it, after you complete it in the correct way, it'll give you this challenge, and you have to survive or kill zombies within a certain amount of time with the challenge given. And there's so many different challenges, and they're all very unique. Some of them are very difficult, and sometimes if I get a really difficult one, I know for a fact I'm not surviving, and I really like that challenge. I really love how that challenge works here. But of course you can get an easier one, and it could be a kind of a breeze to get through, but I really love this step. It's really fun on co-op as well. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. That's just the first trial as well. The second one, you have to throw fire items at 3 torches in the train car area. And this one drove me nuts the first time I was trying to do it because I kept missing. But I learned that if you throw the fire item, it could be a thermite, it could be a Molotov. I'm not sure if there's any other items you can use, but those are the 2 I've tried and they both work. You should actually throw it at the bottom of the torch. Don't throw it at the top part of it, the tip. You want to throw it like the shaft, the bottom. That's disgusting. You want to throw it at the bottom part of it, and it'll light it up pretty much every time. So shout out to Chad for letting me know that, because I wouldn't have known that otherwise. So after you do that, you have to kill this gunner zombie. I still don't know the name of it, but I don't really care, to be honest. You just kill the gunner zombie. He has a lot of health, so he actually takes some time to kill. But once you finish him off, you have to do this little challenge thing where you have to use the Ring of Fire and get like a bunch of kills around these 4 different crystals in this area. So at first I didn't know how I felt about this step, because having a forced field upgrade for a step just seems a bit odd. But they do give you it there, like you can literally just pick it up, so you know, if you didn't put it on your class, it's okay. And also obviously you can switch back to whatever you want right after. And when I thought about it, I was like, I actually kind of like that, because at the end of the day, I do feel like I use the same field upgrade every game, and so having a step that makes you use a different one is cool to me, and I kind of wish Easter eggs would do that more often, as long as they gave you it in-game, because otherwise it would be really annoying. Like, we don't want a Zetsubo Noshima situation where you have to use the anywhere but here gobblegum, or else you can't do the damn Easter egg. Like, Zetsubo definitely should have had some side quests or something that could give you an anywhere but here gobblegum every time, so you didn't have to worry about that. That would have helped that step out a lot more, but I don't know. I actually kind of like this. I think having, using different field upgrades is kind of interesting, and I actually would like if they implemented even more field upgrades into the quest somehow. I just don't like how when you pick up a new field upgrade, it automatically resets you. It should just be whatever progress you were for your past field upgrade should just automatically transfer over. I think that would have been a lot better. Now, the third one, which again, you could do them in any order, but this one I did last, you have to shoot these red crystals near the quick revive area, and one of them will get the orb to fly in a certain location, and you have to go around the map and pick up 3 items, and these 3 items have a challenge tied to them where you have to just walk back. It makes you walk, you can't sprint. You have to walk all the way back to that orb and drop off the item, and the challenges, again, just like before, are very interesting, and some of them are very difficult, but again, they're very fun, and that's what makes this map a lot of fun, in my opinion. At least this Easter egg is these different challenges that just make it so the game wants to kill you, basically. But they're fun challenges. They're not like tedious, annoying, frustrating challenges. They're fun, and that is why I think this is actually a pretty good Easter egg. And once you do all 3 of them, you have to then pick up the shield, because it unlocks the shield for you, the shield wonder weapon, and then you use this shield to do the next trial, where you have to destroy these little zombie heads, like these zombie head statue things, and then you have to use the blast to get these things destroyed, and then you have to pick up a chalice, fill it with blood from the zombie head statue things that you just destroyed, and then pour it into the fountain. You have to do that 3 times if you're on solo. I think it's a couple more if you're on co-op. And meanwhile, you have to kill zombies, because they're going to be trying to attack you while you're trying to do this. And obviously this shield bash thing has to like recharge, so it takes some time. And then once you do this, you're done. That is all the 3 trials. You can now go into the boss fight. And I already made a long video talking about how damn good this boss fight is. And I'll be honest, the more I've thought about it since then, I do think I have a few issues with it. Just small, tiny issues though. They're nothing major. But compared to pretty much any other boss fight from the past 2 Zombies games, this one's definitely my favorite. I definitely prefer this over every Cold War boss fight, although I really do like Legion and Valentina in Cold War. I still think I prefer this boss fight just a tiny bit, and it's definitely better than the Firebase Sea boss fight and the Forsaken boss fight by far from the prior game. And then when it comes to Shinonuma's boss fight, I think it was an okay boss fight. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. It was a bit of a challenge, so I thought it was cool, but I definitely still think I prefer this boss fight over that as well. But when you start comparing it to like Black Ops 3 and 4, then of course it's a little harder to be better than those boss fights, but I still think this is a damn good boss fight. The only issue I have is that I do think the difficulty should be increased a little bit on solo. It was a lot harder on co-op, but I feel like on solo I breezed through it like it's nothing. It is pretty easy once you really get down to it, because not a lot of zombies that spawn, so a lot of it is just me shooting at the boss. When I played it on co-op, I felt like there was a lot more zombies spawning, and I felt like the guy was attacking a lot more, the Archon was attacking a lot more. On solo, I felt like he wasn't even like trying that hard. It was still fun, but it didn't feel like it had as much of a challenge to it as I feel like it did on co-op. So I do think they need to up the difficulty a little bit. I doubt they will, because I've never seen them up the difficulty of a boss fight before. I feel like I've only seen them actually make boss fights easier like they did for Legion. So I don't know, but I do think that's my only thing with this boss fight. I do like how the stages get more difficult as they go along, obviously. Like I said in my other video, I think that's really cool, but it should get even harder. I think it should be like a big change in difficulty. Maybe have some more boss zombies spawn, maybe just have it be a little bit more difficult. Not to the point where it's tedious, but just to the point where it is really, really fun and replayable. So that is my review of the Easter egg. And of course, when you beat it, guess what? You can still play the damn map, and you actually have the whole boss arena open for as a playable area, so you can just go to high rounds and that's really cool. And you get your perks leveled up all the way, you get your guns leveled up. It's a really cool thing. I really like how the Easter eggs don't end the game like they do in some of the other CODs, so that's really cool. This whole Easter egg is great. I think this is one of the best Easter eggs in a long time. I'd argue it's the best Easter egg since Ancient Evil, but that's just my opinion. Last thing we're going to talk about is the atmosphere, which of course is very important to me in a zombies map. And this map is boring to look at. I mean, oh my god, this location is so boring. Obviously, we've already seen it before in Terra Maldicta, and they literally just gave it a green filter, which I think made it uglier. I think the boss arena is really cool, like really awesome. Again, we already saw it though, but Terra Maldicta, oh my god, it doesn't give me any good feels like that a lot of other maps have given me before. I think this map is just ugly. It's ugly all around, to be honest. And locations all feel kind of the same too in the main area. Nothing really feels like it stands out. It's hard to call out locations because I'm just like, I don't know what to call this. Like, I just don't know. I just call it usually by what perk is in that general area. I'm like, oh, this is the quick revive area. This is the jug area. This is the stamina up area. I think that's the easiest thing to say, to be honest, because nothing feels like it stands out or feels distinct or anything. It's just the same thing. I don't know. I really just don't like the atmosphere of this map. The Easter egg song, I like a lot. But of course, it's also just a remix of a song we've seen before. So just a lot of rehashing of stuff here, and that's the biggest issue with this map, is that it's just nothing really that new aside from the Easter egg. So yeah, there's not much to talk about with this map. So as for a final score for the Archon, it was a really hard decision to make because I really don't think this map is that special. I don't. But the damn Easter egg is actually really good, and at the end of the day, that is the most important thing to a zombies map, in my opinion. I'm always going to care most about that Easter egg quest and the boss fight. That's how I've been since Black Ops 3, to be completely honest. I've just really grown attached to these quests, because I think it's what gives these games replayability. I just get tired of training zombies for hours upon hours, so I don't get much enjoyment out of that. I get enjoyment out of challenging quest steps of some sort. And it's not even about the story. Like, I don't care about the story that much. I don't really follow it, especially in Vanguard zombies, but the steps are kind of fun to do, so that's what I gravitate towards. And I do think this is a really solid Easter egg. Like I said, one of the best we've seen in a long time, so that's gonna give the map a lot of score. It just is. Like I said, the rest of the map, pretty plain, pretty boring, pretty stale, but the Easter egg I really kind of like. So I'm gonna give this map a 6.5 out of 10. It is the exact same score that I gave Shinonuma. I probably prefer this map just a tiny bit over Shinonuma just because I like the quest more, but that's not by a lot. Obviously, it's not by a lot. I still think this game all around has a lot of disappointing maps to it, but it's kind of what, you know, it's just what has to happen with the development problems that Treyarch's been dealing with and such. So hopefully their next game can bring like 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 experiences. That would be best case scenario. But as for the Archon, I think giving it a 6.5 makes perfect sense. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will see you all in my next one. Peace out.